So the Browns get an important win versus the Ravens here, everybody. They beat them 33-31. I mean, excellent game. Statement game. Did what you needed to do. You were down early in this game. You had to fight back the entire game. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. At the end of that game, when you hit the game-winning field goal, was the first time you took the lead in this game. This game really makes me want to highlight something about the Browns. Now, 2020 and right now, the 2023 Browns compared to the 2020 Browns, they're similar teams in terms of success. I think at some point in that 2020 season, we were 6-3 at one point. They're both good teams. Obviously, a clear difference is this team right now is more talented on the offensive side and defensive side. But there's one difference I really want to highlight. Look, both teams are successful, but I just feel like this team right now is just different in a positive way. They just have an added element. And here it is. I just want to start off by saying this. 2020 was an extremely successful season for the Browns. But one thing you can highlight about that team is there were times where they got down, and when they got down, they were out. For instance, that first game in week 1 versus the Ravens, they got down early versus a really good Ravens team. They couldn't fight their way back through adversity. Same thing with that Pittsburgh game in week 6 in 2020. Baker threw a pick 6 on that first drive, I believe. And after that, everything went downhill from there. Chaos struck for the team. They were down, and then they didn't get back up. They were down and out. Same thing with that Jets game in that season. You came into that game with a COVID-ridden team. You lost a lot of your players. It was a close game, but you fought through adversity, and you lost that game, and your playoff hopes were kind of hanging in the balance. And then also that Ravens game later in that season, you lost to that game. You lost that game to the Ravens in crunch time because your team just could not get it done in crunch time. That Browns team in 2020 was really good, but there was something that they were missing clearly. That was the clutch gene, and that was resilience to fight back through adversity when things didn't go your way early. Now you look at this 2023 team. At this point in the season in 2020, both teams successful, 6-3. Great record, put yourself in a great position to be in the playoffs. Both teams are great, but what's encouraging about this season is even though both seasons in 2023 and 2020 are going great to this point, this 2023 Browns team has one added element. That's the resilience of this team, and that's the clutch gene of this team. The Browns got down early in this game. Deshaun Watson's first pass was a pick 6. The second drive was horrible. The first quarter, all you could do was get a field goal. The second quarter, all you could do was get some field goals. Muffed a punt in the second half when you thought you were about to come back, really. But this team still won. Deshaun Watson in the second half didn't miss a pass, threw for a touchdown, had a really great run at the end of that game, and this team went on a game-winning drive to set up Dustin Hopkins on a really great field goal to win this game. And even before that drive, the defense played amazing to help this team in crunch time. The offense had multiple drives scoring to help this team get in position to stay toe-and-toe with the Ravens and win this game. The Browns showed resilience, and they showed that they had a clutch gene in this game. And what's crazy is this is not the only game where this is taking place. The 49ers game, you came into that game underdogs. You were a injured team at that point. You didn't have Deshaun Watson. You had a couple other key pieces out in that game. The game on the first drive and the first few drives for the offense and defense didn't start off necessarily all that great. But having the clutch gene that the Browns have this year, being as tough and resilient that they are, they won that game as the underdogs in that game. Same thing with the Colts game. We know how up and down that game was. The offense and defense fought through adversity and weird things going on in that game, and they still found a way to win that game in crunch time, no matter how ugly it needed to get. And when you know and you can compare their success to another successful Browns team within recent memory, but you can note that they have a little something extra this year, that feels amazing, also knowing that you have more talent than you did back then. So that's what I wanted to know, because this game and a few games before this really lets you know that this year the Browns are just different. They are a resilient bunch, and they are a clutch bunch. That speaks to Andrew Berry building the team that he needs. That speaks to the talent that the Browns have on this team, and you really have to give it up for Kevin Stefanski in this one, because I really do believe that right now he deserves to be a candidate for Coach of the Year, because he has battled through some things this year. He's battled through not having his quarterback. He's battled through not having the best running back in the league. He's battled through having 3 starting tackles, 3 pretty nice starting tackles. If you want to say anything you want about Jedrick Wills, be injured and not having them. he really deserves to be in that coach of the year conversation just because of the way he gets his team to fight, the way he gets his team to really be prepared in moments like these. So look, man, I just think it's really encouraging that, yeah, you can compare this team's success to another successful Browns team, but know that this Browns team has a little something extra, and know that you have a great coach leading the way. And I really do believe that right now, Kevin Stefanski deserves to be in that coach of the year conversation. You don't have to say he has to win coach of the year, but I will say he deserves to be in that conversation because of the way he gets his team to fight after all the controversy they have been through this year. And that's all I needed to say. Great win today by the Browns, 33-31. You beat the Ravens in a big division game.